Yes, my name's Colin Glass. I'm a senior partner at a firm of chartered accountants which I helped to found called Winburn, Glass, Norfolk. We shorten it to WGN, and that's my day job effectively. Well, for the practice, obviously it's very hard out there, particularly for SMEs, but we provide a value-added service, and we have to spend more time with clients, but obviously this tends to be more costly, and it's a question of getting our clients and potential clients to understand the added value we can provide. Therefore, we're a little bit maverick insofar as we have a policy where with growth companies we are prepared to take a risk on our fees, which are our currency, and we take small equity stakes, sweat equity stakes in these companies so that we can align our long-term interests with their interests. And we find this works and has worked over the years in certain circumstances. Well, I believe that we're still in recessionary times, and therefore tight controls are very, very important, particularly control over cash. You've got to have the cash because borrowing is very difficult and likely to stay that way. The banks, whatever they say, are not inclined to lend to SMEs, and therefore SMEs have got to either look elsewhere, perhaps through the business angel movement, which means a whole different thought process, taking on equity investment, or just drawing their aspirations a bit in order not to have to borrow. Well, mentoring can be looked at in many different ways. From my own point of view, I've always been very interested in helping early stage companies to grow, and we've had quite a lot of success using our sort of traditional method of being very hands-on, and that's what I call mentoring. You've got to be there with the client or your colleagues, as it turns out to be, because in many cases I joined the board as a non-exec director, and so I can provide the overview that small companies can't get, the link with the outside commercial world. Over the years we've built up our own network, and therefore we can provide connections and introductions, sometimes to potential customers, potential suppliers, or generally just provide that overall experience that many small companies haven't got in-house. I think it's very difficult and quite lonely for the managers and owners of SMEs. Where do they go for outside help, committed help? That's why when we're shareholders or directors with them, we're side by side with them, and we can provide what might be called that mentoring. And other organisations have grown up over the years, particularly organisations where CEOs or managing directors of companies can go and meet with their peers, and this is also a good way of getting to an experience of the outside world and what's going on. But for myself, I would prefer to be inside the company on this sort of basis. I think that it enables them to get advice and help without the quite considerable cost of having someone permanently in-house, and this is important as an SME is growing. Obviously, as it gets bigger, perhaps they'll bring more people in, and the mentor should help them to know when that time is when the time is right for that. But in the meantime, the mentor, from his experience, can add value by pointing out the areas which need strengthening, as I say, introducing him to other people where outside help can be gained, until the company is at a stage, or the business is at a stage where it needs permanent people. Well, there's many different ways that mentors charge or don't charge, as the case may be. Some are quite happy because they know the person just to help them out. There's a lot of this sort of going on, and this is very helpful. At the other end of the scale, there are many businesses that have been created on the back of what might be broadly called mentoring, and they charge fees. There's a lot of subjectivity as to how good people are. I can only talk from my own experience of people who I know who are good mentors because of their experience and the way they can come across to the people who they are mentoring. And as I said, as far as the Chamber's initiative is concerned, they've taken a lot of time to sift through the applications so that they do get relevant people.